Hello friends, welcome to McKillip Life. My name is Amber and today I'll be talking about my nutrition and fitness journey. I'm on week 14 and this will be my 4th week of weightlifting consistently. That means I'm weightlifting on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on Tuesday and Thursday it's cardio. And on the weekends I have no specific exercise goals, but I do try to remain active. In previous videos, I went step by step down all the things I'm tracking, and I just wanted to see if I can mix it up a little bit and just skip to the heart of the matter and talk about the things that stood out to me this week. So we'll see how this goes. With sleep, my sleep has been... I got tired of constantly writing down that I was not waking up at 8 a.m., which was my previous goal. And a lot of it had to do with medication I'm on. And so this week I said, let's just give myself grace. Let's change the goal to 9:30, which is when I'm usually waking up, and just say, if I can consistently wake up at 9:30 or earlier, then I've hit my goal. And then next week I'll work it back at half an hour and say, okay, 9 o'clock's my goal, and just help myself step by step get back to where I want to be. So this week I did every single morning wake up by 9:30 or earlier. Like this morning I was actually up by 8:30. So that has been a blessing for me to say, okay, I am consistent. It's just not quite where I want to be, but we can work towards it. But on top of that, I naturally sleep well at 9.5 hours. And this last week I've been getting well over that. I've been getting close to 10, sometimes even 11 or 12 hours, which is a lot of sleep. And it makes you really tired the rest of the day when you're actually up and about. And I put all that down to the medication as well. And that ties into nutrition and weighing in. I did weigh in every day, and I noticed I was getting increasingly stopped up once again because of the medication. And I also noticed that in the afternoons, I was getting facial flushing, which is, I'm like, it's not a hot flash. It's only in my face and it stays a long time. It's not fast and quick and hard, like I've heard people describe hot flashes. So that was interesting. And I was getting really concerned about my gut. And so I messaged my primary doctor and he said, talk to the neurologist because they're the ones that prescribe the medication. So I talked to the neurologist and they got back to me and said, I think we should take you off the medicine, which is, I have mixed feelings about it. I'd never really wanted to be on it, so it's nice to not have to know it's not going to be here forever. We're going to be working on getting me off of it over the next 2 weeks, and I'm looking forward to not having the side effects, which were massively dry mouth, excessive sleep, constipation, and now the facial flushing. I'm looking forward to not having any of the side effects, but, so, my hair's up in a clip, and the dog's no longer whining outside the door. Like I was saying, I got off several medications or supplements in order to go on this medication, and so I'm a little bit nervous as to what it's going to look like to come off of it and not be on those supplements. I'm grateful because I never wanted to be on Benadryl for a long term, and I was on it. So this helped get me off of it. But the whole premise of this medicine is it increases your serotonin, which is supposed to help relieve my migraines. And on the higher dose, I was noticing a difference in the migraines. And so now it's like, okay, now what? So I'm not going to go back on Benadryl. I'm considering the supplement that was supposed to help with serotonin, but in all reality, I was on that for a very long time and it never really messed with migraines. So I'll probably be talking to my primary doctor about a different supplement that is more targeted towards the serotonin, and hopefully cheaper, because this last one was like $100 a month, which really adds up and it becomes a burden for our finances. So I'm grateful to not have the side effects or not going to have the side effects. But I'm just sort of in that wondering mode of, okay, what's going to be the replacement? So that was really the biggest news this week, is the permission to get off the medication and to no longer have to have these side effects, because constipation is really concerning me, because I don't want to be reliant on aids in order to go potty. And I've had a long history of constipation. I just don't want to go back there. And before this medication, I was, well, it was under control, but it didn't seem like anything I did was helping it. Speaking of which, I have been increasing my fiber, and I told West, I want to be consistent on the fiber. Even on the days I don't track all my food, I want to at least track the fiber to know that I'm keeping up that goal. And this last week, I've done very well. 4 out of the 7 days, I hit or exceeded the fiber goal of 30 grams a day. 2 days I did not track, and that was before I decided I want to be tracking fiber on those days, so I don't know what was happening on those days. And one day I was a little bit low, and low was 27, so that's really close to 30. So I want to include that because, like, the typical advice people give you for constipation is drink more, move more, and have more fiber. And I'm doing the first two very well, and just the consistent fiber sometimes doesn't happen or hasn't happened in the past. So I think even with coming off the medication, it's still a good goal to have, and I'll be doing that. In terms of exercise, it was all good, and actually I was grateful this week. I wasn't so wiped out after weightlifting. And I don't know if that was like increasing the calories on those days. It just so happened that on 2 of the weightlifting days, I was my non-tracking days, so obviously I was having more calories that day. And then, actually, that's funny. All 3 days, I was definitely having more calories than usual. Going into this week, I knew for a fact I had a party to go to at church one night, and then we had a birthday celebration another day. And we also had a third birthday celebration, or a second birthday, but I was hoping to be able to track on that day. And it kind of wobbled and wibbled. We didn't quite know if we were going to be able to do it. And eventually I was able to say, hey, I'll cook the dinner here. So I was able to track it. But even with tracking, I was still celebrating with people, so I still ate over. But unintentionally, all 3 days I was lifting, I was also having more calories, and I definitely had better recovery. I wasn't wiped out for the rest of the day. I was able to be active. So I think that's a good thing. It's a good sign that would be a good plan going forward. Not track on my weightlifting days, but just have a higher goal. So speaking of non-tracking days, this next week, starting today I'm actually filming on a Wednesday. So Wednesday I have a party tonight again that I can't track completely before, but I'm doing my best on my breakfasts and lunch and snack, just having them just be consistent. And I'm bringing a broccoli salad to the party that I know how to count. So we'll see how that goes. And then on this Sunday is going to be the big family celebration, celebrating 3 family birthdays all at one time. And that's, once again, I can't track that very well, but I still plan on doing my normal breakfast to lunch and snacks and trying to keep track of my fiber. And once again, with the fiber, I find that I am able to easily hit it when I have beans in one of my meals and I have the protein bar. West was also pointing out if I have a low carb tortilla, it should be really easy, because low carb tortillas are that way because they pack them full of fiber. Like one tortilla with 18 grams of fiber. That's a lot of fiber. So part of the discussion last week was talking about what a goal should be through the holiday season. We've already talked about that, but we revisited it and talked about the difference between trying to continue to lose weight, maintaining, and recomposition, and all the different options. And in reality, because I can't necessarily track my food well during this time, it probably will end up being a recomp diet rather than a losing diet. That being said, if it takes me 2 weeks to get off this medication, and that long for my sleep and my gut to get back to normal will probably be at the end of December already. So I'm trying to keep my hopes up in terms of the results I'll be getting this month, but also being realistic and saying every week there's been at least 2 days I can't track well. So that's really hard to be consistent with your diet, and a lot of weight loss comes from our diet. But I can say I have been consistent with exercise. There have been days where it's exhausted me and I can't do much else, but I've been consistent with my exercise. And I tell myself, in fact, that was part of my journaling this last week, was talking about why I'm still exercising even though my diet's not on point. So let me read you my couple of thoughts I had on that. So I have exercise helps me process all kinds of food. So if I'm not on point with my food, exercise will help me. It goes back to when my driving motivations for exercise is it makes my body more sensitive to insulin. And that is a humongous plus. So it helps me process all kinds of food. It lets me put whatever food it is to use. Muscles and cardio help process all food and help offset whatever food you're eating, and it'll raise my metabolism the more I'm using them and building them. Exercise boosts my confidence to do other hard things, which is one of those unexpected things I've gotten from this journey is, every single day I'm doing a somewhat hard thing in my exercise, and that just gives me more confidence. Not just in my body's ability to do things like, okay, yeah, I have no problems lifting a 46-pound bag of dog food or a case of water or whatever it is. But just overall, I'm doing something that's kind of hard every day, and that really helps. And then the old saying of use it or lose it. I want to use it. I don't want to lose it, especially considering menopause is around the corner, and just all the changes that happen when you're getting even older. So those are my thoughts about why exercise is still good, even though you can't track your food very well. And I also have this hope, I was doing this before the holidays and I'll be doing this after the holidays. So eventually I expect to see consistent changes in my body because all those non-days of tracking will be gone, or in the past and in the far future, like 12 months later. Anywho, I do think that when I'm consistent with exercise, my overall energy and mood is better. And there is I've looked it up a little bit. I haven't looked very deeply into it, but people talk about the runner's high. But part of the benefits of exercise is beneficial neurotransmitters in your brain, which will help. Because if I'm looking for serotonin, and that's one of the classic feel-good neurotransmitters, you do get some of that from exercise. So I think it's just something really good to have just as a baseline in your life, or in my life, to say this is a rhythm of my day, rhythm of my week, and it's good for my body and many other things as well. So this coming week, my Wednesday to Wednesday is basically the week before Christmas, and just trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's for getting prepared for Christmas. I have a box over there with things to wrap. You can see Christmas stuff behind me. I hope that your holiday preparations are going well and that you are being able to find that balance between long-term goals and the immediate festivities around you. And just, once again, learning to give ourselves grace in the process and knowing that consistency will eventually pay off. So I hope you have a wonderful day. And in the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe.